Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township, you know, those government entities that make laws, regulations, and ordinances that affect you out there.
And whether you live in the village of Leonard, the village of Oxford, Addison Township, or Oxford Township,
Close enough.
these are the people that you elected. And the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you attended that particular meeting that affected you or not. And that's why we're here.
That and to find humor. And you know there's humor in
There's
politicians
humor, there's
and
humor,
meetings.
and Digger here has found it all.
It bubbles to the top and there it is. Also, we are in the habit of occasionally setting a rumor or two on this show. Usually
Rumor?
more than me, but
Well,
yeah.
rumor goes along with humor.
It does.
Just a different letter.
Right. How'd your holiday go, by the way?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Well, I'm in a choir at
Can you
church,
talk
and
about
we
it?
sang and yesterday, of course, you know, instead
Easter.
of eating a reasonable amount of food, we just dug in.
Oh, yeah, you're a Duggar. I mean, okay.
Hey, by the way,
Yes.
remember we were
By the way.
talking about whether Michigan was a winner-take-all state? Well, I found out that it is, and it isn't.
Tell me more.
Well, Michigan has what's called a winner-take-all trigger mechanism.
Trigger.
And if a individual candidate out of the field takes a very significant amount of the vote, then it's winner-take-all. However, if it's more proportionally distributed, then it's also the delegates are more proportionally distributed. So,
Okay. So what cartoon show did you see this on?
Ribbon Stimpy or something, I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, this could be just a rumor, folks. So I just don't want to warn you in advance. Let's talk about meetings that are coming up or did occur already.
Okay.
Shall we? Okay. We're going to talk about two of them. One is Addison Township Board of Trustees.
Always exciting.
I always like to talk about Addison Township, nice little area there. Oxford Downtown Development Authority.
And they're in the
They're in the black.
black.
Yes,
They're in
not
the
in
money.
red, not to be confused. Maybe not a lot of money, but they're showing some
We
pretty good
mentioned
things.
that because in past years they were not in
Bubbling
the
to
black.
the struggling in quicksand. But anyway, they've survived the quicksand now.
right.
Let's talk about the meeting going on then in Addison Township. And of course, Bruce Pearson, who's the supervisor of the township, leads that particular
Right.
group. And other people on it are Pauline Bennett,
Clerk,
clerk, and Lori Fisher.
treasurer,
Yep. And trustees, Brakefield, Ed Brakefield.
Ed
is one of them.
Brakefield,
Yep.
and I can't remember the other names. Can you?
Garrick and Mr. Sant
Okay.
is on there, and I believe a fellow named Beamer is
Beamer.
on there. Yeah, I believe
Like spelled like the guy that's in Congress or was.
close enough.
Okay.
We'll just say he was.
All right.
Okay, and if it's not Beamer, we'll change your name to
Yeah,
Beamer.
there.
Okay. Anyway, so the first thing they did, of course, they had the Pledge of Allegiance. Well done. And then, of course, they did talk about the minutes,
The minutes
and for February 8th, 2016, and they were approved. And
in
that-
seconds.
in seconds, and that train went down the track. They did mention at that point that, hey, folks, instead of 7 o'clock meeting, it's now going to be changed to 6 o'clock. So we're going to have these.
Right after people turned their clocks ahead.
Yeah,
I don't
hey,
know.
Hey, they should have left the clocks alone, probably.
But that applies also to what, the Planning Commission and the CBA.
I believe that's true, but I couldn't really state it. If he wants to spread a rumor, we'll start it right here.
Okay, but you can always blame him.
But if you show up late and they've already had the meeting, it's his fault. Just give him a call.
Oh,
Let me give you his
haven't
phone
had
number.
the meeting. It was probably an exciting one and was still going on.
It could be. It could have happened. Okay. So anyway, a number of things came up, and first thing they had, of course, is the township chloride issue. They put salt all over everything, and they had 4 bids.
Is
but
that sodium chloride or calcium chloride?
I believe it's sodium
Okay.
chloride. Yep.
All right.
Another rumor. We'll spread it. Okay.
Okay.
There, chloride.
Salt of
spread
the earth.
chloride all over. Spread it. Anyhow, the cost of that, the bid that they accepted was Road Maintenance Incorporated, and it was $54,000, but it's 4 applications.
That's a lot of
And that-
salt.
but yeah, and that's for all the roads, though,
Oh,
in Addison
okay.
Township, all the gravel roads. So that keeps the dust down, keeps the gravel in place so it doesn't fly all over the place, all that kind of stuff.
It
But
actually, it actually keeps the gravel down too?
it does keep the gravel down. Otherwise, what will happen is that if there's nothing holding the gravel stones together, the winds they have out there, you know,
They'll fly up and hit my windshield.
that would be the car in front of you.
Right.
Or the truck, whichever. So anyway, they have a tendency not to remain on the road. So that's good reason for salting. It's a one-year bid that they have for 4 applications, as I pointed out. So that was approved, ready to go. $54,483.98.
And that goes down as a liquid, doesn't it?
Goes down as a liquid.
Okay.
It does. Yep. And hopefully it makes all those little stones stick together. Janitorial service was the next thing that came up, the bid for that. And they went with Service Master Cleaners from Metamora.
Okay.
And the bid was $680 per month. And there's several bids on it. They'll clean.
Now that now that the offices have expanded,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
more square footage.
Nice
for the-
offices. They have less cleaning there now.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know. We'll say they do.
More floor space, less
More
cleaning?
less cleaning. Okay, but anyway, these folks have agreed to clean twice a week, you know.
Okay.
So anyway, so that was approved, went through rather quickly. Budgets. Remember we were talking about budgets. The dastardly deed they have to do. They have to keep the expenses down, and that B word, balance word, with budgets, and for 2016-17. And they said, is there any comments from the audience? No. So the budgets were approved. So you have money you can spend next year in Addison Township. That's a good thing. And of course, they're awful careful, you know, with the way they spend their money there. Unlike somebody else I know.
Hey, wait a minute.
So,
That was petty cash.
all right. It was petty, all right. So anyway, the next subject they had was the liquor license. A request for a liquor license for the old Bear Paw restaurant. It used to be.
Why
in
is it
town.
the old Bear Paw
Because
restaurant?
it's not there anymore.
Oh.
There's another restaurant owner that owns
Oh.
the building.
Oh,
And that's at 1383 Rochester Road.
wasn't a real big building, was it?
No, it's not. And actually, the thing that came up during the discussion is, what about parking? You know, right now there's like, you know, the fire chief said there's like 18 spaces that they could probably make do. But according to the owner, they would provide a site plan for the availability. That's all, folks. Availability for 25 spaces.
Oh, that's
And-
kind of like right on that hill going up out of Lakeville, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Okay.
Used to be a neat little restaurant. At one time, they were talking about putting a deck on the back.
Oh,
And
overlooking the lake.
Yeah, so people could sit on the deck, you know, and enjoy their food, you know, on the deck, looking over the lake,
And now they can imbibe.
checking out the
Or ca-
seagulls.
Or
Is
did
there
they?
seagulls?
Did that actually pass, by the way, the liquor license?
Yeah, well, actually, what they did is they tabled it because they need more information. Because what they needed was an occupancy drawing. In other words, show what the parking spaces and everything were going to require. And the owner of the property wasn't there, so you know they couldn't ask him the questions. So they said, well, let's table it till next meeting
Okay.
until we get the
That's
information.
reasonable.
Yeah, good thing. Bruce Pearson, then he talked about, and you know, supervisor of the township, about Rochester road improvements. That the Oakland County Road Commission is going to pave the road, a certain section, and they said
Repave it.
repave it. Yeah, repave
It
it.
ain't a gravel road, folks.
It's not. No, it's not. They're going to repave it. They're going to repave it. But one of the things that the town, the village or the Addison Township wanted is a bike path or a safety path
Or
alongside of it.
a shoulder?
Right, shoulder. Well, it's kind of a shoulder, but paved.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that people could use it for riding their bikes and walking and so forth.
So bicyclists don't have to rush out into the gravel and
Right.
possibly have an accident.
Guess what Oakland County Road Commission said?
No.
No. Not going to happen.
Well,
Excuse me.
unless you give us, I don't know, a couple of $100,000
Well,
extra.
yeah, well, that's not the case either. But they did say, the road commission said that their program includes curbing. And they said, what do we need curbings for? Out there, it's out in the country. We're gonna have curbs? You know, why can't we have a path instead where people can walk, you know, along the side?
You could,
So
you could put a curb in, then you got to put drains.
yeah, and exactly, gotta have drains,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But anyway, so they said, well, let's put a petition or a acclamation from the township. One of the trustees said,
An acclamation.
an acclamation that we want walk trails alongside this rather than the curbing. And they talked about this for some time, and Bruce Pearson, he came out and he said, you know, I got to tell you guys that if you put a halt to this, there's other people that the road commission will go to, and they'll allocate our funds for someone else. And this is what happened last time. You know, we asked for something and we delayed it. they gave it to another community. So he said, I would not recommend, we go this route. So guess what? They're not going to do it.
Oh.
So they said they're just going to hold tight on it. They can send a letter for future application, but at this point, they're not going to make waves.
They don't want
the
no
funding.
stinking curbs.
They don't want no stinking curbs. With that, we'll be back right after this, folks. No stinking curbs. Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nickel.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're having a great time here. We're talking about the Addison Township Board of Trustees meeting
That's right.
that they had. And
Happy trails.
Happy trails. Well, we just talked about all the trails they
That's
tried to
right.
get and won't get.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Another
one of those
day.
things. But they keep trying. Anyway, so they did bring up the issue that there's a 2.3 acres of land located near the existing park property that they have.
Yeah.
And it would be contiguous. You know what that word is.
Yeah. But up
Next to it.
against.
Up against, yep. And so they said it was a great opportunity for the township to own this and expand the park entrance area. And they said, well, how much is it? How much is it going to cost to do this? And I said, well, $60,000 for the whole thing. But there's a but in there. But $15,000 cash would come from the park fund.
Oh.
And $45,000, the gentleman has asked for a tax credit
Oh.
for the next 15 years, roughly. The guy that owns the property. And that would be a fellow named Mr. Fitzpatrick that owns the property.
He must own other properties too to get a tax credit.
Well, he does, and he wants to use this as, the offset,
Yeah.
his taxes, which is a pretty good deal, actually, for him. And I think a good deal, I hate to use that word, but opportunity, great opportunity, for Addison Township also to acquire some additional park property.
Now, having led in with that, how did the wind blow?
Well, the wind flow, they all said, all those in favor, and they all said, aye, aye, aye.
Okie dokie.
So it was approved. And so you folks will find additional park space out there at some point down the future. Oakland County Marine Patrol, that was the next thing. They need to finance a Marine Patrol. Now, that's not an automatic thing. You would think
And they aren't Marines.
no, it's, no, it's the police of the lake,
Right.
in Lakeville. And I always thought maybe, the county would take care of that, in the past, but I learned
The Oakland County Marine Patrol?
a long time ago that that's not the case at all.
I thought it was an adjunct of the Sheriff's Department.
It is, but you have to pay for it because it's not anything that is provided, by Oakland County.
So it's like having outsourcing your police to the
Yep.
Oakland County.
Right. So how do they get the money for it? That was the question that came up. How do you get the money for this?
God will provide.
Well, you're right. It's called donations.
Oh.
And businesses donate and property owners, that kind of, type of entity.
That's called, that kind of donation is called an assessment, isn't it?
No, it's not. Actually, it's called Bruce Pearson gets out with his hand. Though. He said, we need the money. Can you help us? Please. And he gets down on bended
But,
knee. And,
well,
that's how he gets the money.
That might be nice for the first shot, but to be consistent, doesn't that have to be sort of like a little item in your taxes?
Well, they're not going to attach it to taxes. They never have. So they don't want to see taxes increase in Addison Township if they can help it. That's a novelty, isn't it?
Well,
No new taxes, folks. How
Well,
did that come about?
we've always depended on the kindness of strangers.
Right? Well, I always figured that, let me see, government is short on funds. Let's raise the taxes. That'll work every time, almost every time.
Well, you can also cut spending.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of against taxes too, but no, who's for taxes? Everybody for taxes? Raise your hand out there. I don't see anybody.
Well, depends where the money goes,
Right,
whether you're for it or
that's
not.
true. That's true, exactly. Kingsbury Fair, they have it, there's a Kingsbury school,
Right.
and they have it every year or so, and on June 5th it's held.
That's in Addison Township.
It
Okay.
is. It's held on June 5th, and this is their 60th year to have this. Now, that's hard to believe. That's a long
Wow.
time, huh? It's almost older than you. Well, not,
No.
but anyway. So they're looking for getting a temporary liquor license, for this as a request. Of course, that was approved immediately because they're nonprofit
Right.
and no problem.
They
It went
probably
through.
have to be bonded and everything.
Right. Now, I want you to know, though, in Addison Township, that on May 7th, they want everybody to know out there that it's spring cleanup time, and it'll be on Saturday, May 7th. And so you folks want to volunteer to do that, contact the township offices, and they'll make sure you're teamed up with some really nice
Right.
people.
Yeah, that's right. But differentiate from spring cleanup and no-haz.
Yeah. Well,
This
actually,
is
Go ahead.
no-haz is something else.
yeah, it is.
This is your lumber and all that stuff that,
Yeah.
collected in your pole barn.
Well, it
That
hasn't.
isn't gasoline and paint and
Well,
stuff like that.
It could be. No has. They accept stuff like that.
At no-haz.
At no-haz.
They do. But,
They do. You would probably.
but
do-
on cleanup
you know,
day, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
So you have to check with the township.
And you're not allowed to burn it like he does.
Hey, wait
know.
a minute.
Which, no, I'm going to tell him because you live in Brandon Township. You might get away with it.
What do you mean?
He calls it a yearly burn instead of a yearly spring cleanup. Because your folks out in Brandon are watching this. We need his
No,
address.
actually, Brandon actually has a spring cleanup too.
Do they?
They do.
How do they get past the water? It's about knee high to it's
What
pretty
water?
deep. The lake in front of your place every spring. And the sun comes up.
The little crayfish swimming along.
Yeah, you watch the sun go down at night. I know how that works.
Spring
Okay.
is here.
So anyways, now they led themselves up to, let's have a public forum. And Joe King,
About what?
well, anybody that wants to talk,
Just
can
talk?
speak, can just speak, bring anything up that they want to. Joe King, who's representative of the library, cited that they're interested in finding a location for the new library. They're thinking about building down the line. Now, they're not going to do this
That project has been on
Yeah.
the heat on
for a long time.
the heater now. Yeah.
But they're talking about doing this maybe within the next 5 years. And you folks out in Addison, they're looking for your input. So you want to contact, again, the township offices and or the library.
Do they have money for it?
They will have by the time they get there.
They're raising taxes.
No, they're not. No, they're not raising taxes. Again, through fundraisers and for grants. Grants that are available, they're going to apply for those.
Okay.
So they hopefully will find a way to have a new library building at some point for you folks out in Addison. Now, let's talk about the Oxford Downtown Development Authority.
The DDA.
DDA, yep. And we were talking before that they were kind of in the red here a few years back, but not any longer.
Doesn't Pete Schultz head that up?
Pete Schultz is the chairperson, yep, of that group. Other people on it are Sue Basardit, and she's also the president of the Village Council.
And the
serves on-
OACCC, the Oxford Cable Commission.
Yeah, she serves on several committees, as does Pete Schultz as well. Rod Charles, who's a very well-known businessman in this area.
And associated with
Yep.
the what? The Lone Ranger Parade.
Yes, well, he was, and I think he's trying to skirt some of that responsibility to other people because he did develop it and start it.
That's a heavy load.
It is. He did a great job, continues to do a great job, and he has an involvement too as it goes down the line. But Jerry Kremen is the owner of Sullivan's Pub
Yes?
downtown. And what's interesting, he brought up near the end, is that his wife and he are going to have a new baby. It'll be their second child. That's kind of neat. But not to be outdone,
What did you do? What have you done?
it wasn't me, it was Ed Hunwick. Actually, one of his kids. Not to be outdone, he wanted to make sure that everybody knew that he was going to be a new grandfather. So,
Oh,
how about
great,
that? So
great.
lots of things going on at the DDA and other things you'll learn about when we come back right after this, folks.
Should never leave a big blank of silence there.
No.
Oh.
Everywhere you turn in Oxford is a new opportunity for fun. From the sandy beaches of Stony Lake and Scripter to the many different sporting events and other recreational activities held at Seymour Lake Park. For those who like long walks, you can find yourself exploring the Pollyant Trail throughout Oxford's more scenic areas. And if it's seclusion you like, look no farther than Oakwood Lake Park. So bring your family or friends out to see one of our beautiful parks today.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kinney.
And we're talking about the DDA,
Good old DDA.
Downtown Development Authority.
Yep.
Yep. And they did the Pledge of Allegiance, flag. They approved the agenda. They got all the preliminaries out of the way. Minutes, they did the minutes for February 15th, all that approved. And they said, is there any public comment for things not on the agenda?
And people
Ran.
ran.
So anyway, so no. Executive Director's report was next, and that is Joe Frost. And by the way, Joe Frost is doing a pretty good job out there.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he's keeping an eye on things, and he's come up with some developments rather interesting. He has been involved with public relations program with existing businesses in Oxford, and he's also provided presentations about the DDA and what they're doing here in Oxford for other areas like Metamora, recently. So, and they're interested in accomplishing some things there, and they're very interested in what Joe Frost and the DDA people are doing in
Excellent.
Oxford.
Well,
So those are good
They're
things.
relatively close by, and what one community does affects the other.
Exactly, and that's always been the case. I do know that we share, for example, Oxford Village and the township, we share the fire department, with Addison Township when they need help, and Addison provides help for us when we need it, and EMTs and so forth. So
That allows them to have specialized equipment, so you don't have to duplicate everything.
It does. Now, getting back to Joe Frost, he said that there have been 55 and a half hours roughly in terms of volunteer hours. And he said of that 55 and a half, 31 hours were by the intern, which by the way, he said she's doing a great job working with him. And she's strictly voluntary, to Oxford. So, and she's, I think, working towards her college degree, master's or whatever. But anyway, if she's not, let's say she is.
And she's getting great experience.
Yeah, she is.
Real world experience.
Real
as they
world
say.
stuff, yeah. But she's pretty sharp. She knows her stuff, according to Joe. Joe Frost also said that he had a meeting with Terry Stiles. You know Terry?
No? Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes,
and what they're attempting...
Terry is our production manager here.
Yeah. And what Joe said is what they're attempting to do is bring back where let's get strolling, where they have
Oh,
a
yeah, that
person
was-
go out and interview businesses.
That was fun. I think the last person that did that was Julie Hogan.
It was Julie Hogan. Yep.
So, you know her?
Yep. Well, she does a good job, really good.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't train her.
There's a relationship there, isn't there?
Well, she would be my daughter, probably.
Oh, she would?
She would. Still is. But anyway, so but she's not doing that any longer. And,
Oh.
so
She was good.
yeah, I thought she was good.
I'm sure you did.
Okay. So anyway, so they're attempting to put that program together, for you folks out there. And knowing Terry, she'll come up with some answers
Absolutely.
here. And Joe Frost, he's not a giver-upper either. So you folks will have somebody carry that baton, and all is said and done. Joe also said that there's more followers on the website, which he's very happy about. There's 592 of them now,
Oh.
which I think last count is like 520, something along that line. So it is increasing,
good. A lot
pretty
of
good
hits.
clip. Concerts in the park. Good news.
Oh,
You're going
they-
to hear music.
They've got a list now?
They do have a list.
Wonderful.
Yep. And they have
And-
the people signed up. They're going to do this as far as the talent.
And if you're curious, as soon as I get the list, I'll put it up on our bulletin board on OCCTV.org.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, that's a fun thing because downtown Oxford, music coming from the gazebo, you sit back in your lawn chair, a nice little cold drink, it's just fun. It's really good. And
they
they
have
do
to-
a good program.
And you have one too many cold drinks, and they have to drag you off the
That
lawn.
would be you. That would be you. And I've spread that rumor
It
many
would
a
be,
time.
but it isn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Belgian.
Right. Okay. They're continuing to meet with private businesses, of course, to see if there's areas that they can be of service with them. They had a treasurer's report right after that,
Oh.
and Ed Hunwick is the treasurer.
Okay.
And Ed is doing a pretty good job watching the money. He's
Ed
working
used to
with-
be the president of the Cable Commission.
Used to. Yep.
Yeah.
He still sits on the board though.
That's right.
Representing the township.
Yep.
Oxford Township.
He and Buck Reutemann.
Yep. But anyway, getting back to this, you keep wanting to steer me in a different direction. What's
Yes,
with
I
that?
do. See if you can get back on course.
Treasurer's report, they have roughly bills of $69,653. Now, that seems like a lot of money. Excuse me, and it is, but it's covering the services that they provide right now. And by the way, their general fund is holding its own. And the thinking here on the treasurer's part is by the end of the budget period, they will have at least $20,000 in extra funds available
good.
in there. So
Good.
that's a lot better than it was a few years ago, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
You betcha.
it's good. And
They're happy now.
Great group of people on that board. Budget amendment, he needed to make people aware that a budget amendment was needed. $630 for operating supplies was necessary. And it would be put in the holiday account. In other words, they're going to take it out of the operating supplies account and put it into the holiday account
Okay.
for lights and that kind of thing, and what they do for the holiday. So, because they were running a little sparse there.
Sparse.
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 Right. Code enforcement activity, they did talk about that briefly, and most of it covered snow, which we have no snow anymore, folks. So,
Code enforcement, as in, did you shovel your sidewalk?
well, right, and there was some question about a certain business that wasn't shoveling out the, what do they call it, parking lot. And it
Well,
turned out to be the person that they had hired didn't
Yeah.
show up
Well,
like they were supposed
A
to.
business will shovel off their parking lot, and where do they put it? In the parking spot.
Or
And
in,
then,
or in-
then it's the, is it the village's duty then to remove that snow?
in the parking lot. Well, the parking lots
Oh,
are
the parking lot, I was thinking
Yeah.
of their sidewalks. yeah.
No, the parking lot is the village's responsibility. The
Okay.
main road 24, that would be Oakland County's responsibility,
Okay.
except for where the parking spots,
Are.
are inset
Yeah,
along there. That would be the village's responsibility again.
okay.
But they did discuss the method in which that should be cleared, but, they'll have to deal with that next year. That if they use
That's a safe bet now.
it's a safe bet right now. You'll get rain at least. But no, they do keep tabs on what's going on in the village, and if you folks have problems that you want to bring forward, to the DDA or to the village council, contact the village offices at 22 Burdick Street.
Then there's that
and
elephant.
Make it well known.
Then there's that elephant on the sidewalk.
What elephant?
The elephant that, I don't know, what is it now, 2017, 2018, that the Michigan Highway Department is going to come through and redo the road?
Yeah, that's going to be in 2021. Actually.
2021
yeah,
now.
and it's going to be shelved actually to get it financed because they really don't have the financing for it yet. But that's a whole different subject. We'll talk about at the next Minutes by Minute.
In
By the way,
2022.
we got lots of time to talk about it, folks. So what's coming
That
up?
was supposed to come by, I mean, they've been pushing that one off for years.
Well, they
Anyhow,
have,
yeah.
yes.
Anyhow, we do have a few meetings.
it back.
Unfortunately, it's the beginning of the month. And on April 4th, at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals, I think this guy's on it.
Yeah.
And at 7:30, the Addison Township Park Committee, one of your favorites. And at at 7:30 that is, and at 7 o'clock, the Village of Leonard Zoning Board of Appeals,
Yep. And you know what?
which may or may not have a meeting. If they don't have any subjects to cover, they'll cancel it.
Yeah.
So check
Yeah. where should they check?
with the Village of Leonard.
Okay. And that would do it. This
There's
is
a nice little glassed-in case on the Rowland Hall, and they'll tell you whether it's canceled or not.
And they have a brand new door to let you in there. It's automatic.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this is Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
Catch you right here next time.
See you then.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the Village of Leonard.
Here we are in front of American Legion Post 108 in Oxford. Now, every Friday between 12 and 8:30, they serve up some of the best fish in Michigan. Follow me inside. We're going to take a look around the post. All right, here we are now on the Hull side of the post where you can get tables for anywhere to 6 to 30 people. And before or after you're done eating, take a walk around and browse through the second largest military museum in the state of Michigan. All right, now we're over on the restaurant side of the post where most of the fun happens. As you can see behind me, they've got darts, pool tables, 50-50 raffles, and any kind of fish you can think of, baked cod, walleye, combo plates, all right here at your beck and call.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the Village of Leonard.